Previously, I created a beginner's guide to video quality as part of my ongoing project to build my own private media server. I covered the key considerations for achieving the best playback results to outperform streaming services like Netflix and Disney+. In this video, I walk through the app called Handbrake. It's arguably the most popular tool for converting your ripped copies of your DVD and Blu-ray libraries for personal streaming. I was initially overwhelmed by the sheer number of features when I first started using Handbrake. I decided to invest time in learning and understanding these features to optimize my own library and share my findings with other beginners like myself. Handbrake is a free open source video converter built by volunteers. It can convert videos from almost any format into a variety of modern, widely supported codecs. It's also the primary tool used to build private streaming servers with ripped DVDs and Blu-ray discs. The tool will process containers and their contents and convert them into nearly any other format you require for your own personal use. I'll go over the basic workflow quickly before getting into more detail about all the features in later chapters of this video. The basic process for using Handbrake is to add your source file, such as an MKV container, and upload it to Handbrake. On opening Handbrake, you'll select a source file you want to convert either by dragging and dropping the file into Handbrake or using one of the two options which launch file navigation to search your computer. If you have a number of files you want to convert as a job lot, you'll choose the folder containing the source files and Handbrake will scan the folder. If you have a specific source file, you can navigate to that particular file using the second option instead. Then you select from a list of presets that you want to convert the source file into. If needed, advanced users can then further customize the encoding settings. After selecting the desired encode settings, you can choose the save location for the output file on your computer or network. To begin the encoding process, you'll select Start Encode and begin the encoding process from there. The time Handbrake needs to finish encoding will vary from a few minutes to potentially several hours, depending on the specification of your computer, the source file size, and how complex the chosen encode settings are. You can add additional videos to the queue for encoding with their own individual settings by starting the process again with a new source file, and then selecting Add to Queue. Handbrake will encode everything in the queue in sequential order. To review or cancel encodes, select Queue from the menu and open the dialog box containing the queue's files. The queue can be reordered by dragging the source files into new positions. However, note that the active encode will remain unaffected. Now you have an overall understanding of the way that Handbrake operates, I can go into detail about the individual settings and features. Some Blu-rays and DVDs are divided into titles and menus. Titles are further divided into units that the Blu-ray or DVD specification calls parts of titles or PTTs. These are usually called scenes or chapters. The way a disc's content is divided into titles and chapters is up to the original author. While an entire movie might typically be one title with scene chapters and bonus content placed in separate titles, this organisation can vary between discs. The title with the longest time duration is usually the main feature. Using the title function, you can select the source you want to encode, especially if you're intending to encode a different part of the disc content rather than the full movie or TV show. Some movies have multiple angles encoded, and you can choose which one you want to convert. Additional camera angles enable you to view content from another perspective, such as a second camera used during shooting of the content. Using the angle selector, you can choose which angle you want to encode. You can choose which chapters of a movie you want to encode too. All chapters can be chosen by default, but if you want to, you can choose specific sections of a source file to encode instead. Handbrake includes a number of default presets that will encode your source files for specific devices and for general playback. General includes some basic settings suitable for playback across a broad spectrum of devices like your computer, phones, tablets, or as web files. For example, the Chromecast preset encodes at a lower bitrate than the general Super HQ preset, if you're looking to find the best compromise between quality and size. The early generations of Chromecast hardware isn't particularly powerful, so to ensure smooth playback but at the best quality, a lower bitrate should provide a better performance. You'll also see the option to choose presets as very fast, fast, high quality or super high quality. The very fast and fast speed settings will encode your video more quickly, but the resulting file may be larger and be lower quality. If you prioritize video quality over encoding speed, choose high quality or super high quality. These settings will take longer to encode, but will produce a higher quality video. However, perhaps the most important preset for any user with a compatible computer are the presets dedicated to using the hardware in your computer rather than using software encoding. Handbrake supports hardware encoders from AMD, Intel and Nvidia. These encoders can quickly produce H.265 videos. Hardware encoding provides a much faster encoding speed rather than just using the software because of the extra computing power being used. For example, I can encode a 4K UHD movie in 25 minutes rather than several hours by choosing NVENC in the presets using my NVIDIA graphics card. If you've previously saved one of your own presets, you may select it here in the same way as the official presets. I'll explain more about custom presets in a later chapter of this video. Another important consideration when choosing your preset and codec is that H.265 and SVT-AV1 support dynamic metadata for HDR10+ and Dolby Vision. If you don't use these codecs, your final video file will not preserve the necessary dynamic metadata for the best HDR performance on compatible TVs. Check out my previous video for more information on HDR. My own workflow for different content sources follows some basic tips. For older TV and movies that aren't presented in 1080p, I stick to fast 720p 30 encoding presets and settings to reduce the encoding times. In terms of quality, I'm less interested in fidelity and I'm personally happy with the result. For movies on DVD or Blu-ray that are 1080p, I'll set my preset to H.265 NVENC 1080p, as the increased H.265 encoding time is more than offset by my NVIDIA graphics card. It's only when encoding 4K UHD Blu-ray discs that I spend more time tinkering with the settings. I tend only to buy movies in 4K UHD format when it's a favourite movie, remastered from the original 35mm or 70mm film, or a more modern blockbuster that supports dynamic metadata for HDR10+ or Dolby Vision. I'll cover those settings off in my next chapter. Format enables you to adjust the container output to MP4, MKV or WebM. WebM is a free open source video and audio file format for the web. It's designed to be a high quality alternative to other video formats like MP4. WebM is supported by many browsers and devices, including Windows, Linux and Android. The Web Optimized checkbox enables a file to be encoded for playback across a network to your playback device without the need to download the file first, but instead the data is encoded in such a way to enable immediate playback. Align AV Start is an option to insert or remove frames to synchronize playback when the playback device is not compatible with MP4 edit lists. The MP4 container format supports a feature called edit lists that can change playback behavior without modifying the bitstream. An edit decision list, or EDL, is used in post-production process of film editing and video editing. The list contains an ordered list of real and timecode data representing where each video clip can be obtained to conform to the final cut. Pass-through common metadata maintains the most common information used to categorize and enable search for use with the final video file. This section lets you tailor some of the finer settings to your preferences. If you make changes to this section and the other tabs, it's worth noting that it will overwrite the default presets and create a custom setting. Orientation and cropping enables you to flip the video horizontally or rotate the video through 90-degree angles for creative reason. Cropping will eliminate any black borders around the video for the final output. This can be set to automatic, conservative, so as not to overly zealously cut the frame of the video, none, or you can choose custom settings if you know how much cropping is required on a per video basis. Resolution and scaling is where you can override the preset of choosing a different resolution. You can set the video resolution higher than the source resolution, but as Handbrake's documentation explains, there won't be a quality increase. You can also let Handbrake identify whether the source video is represented in anamorphic ratio automatically for cinematic presentation. However, just like the resolution limit, you can override the ratio and set it to none for devices that can't show anamorphic content. or you can create your own custom ratio if you happen to know that the automatic settings won't convert to the desired ratio. The border option enables you to avoid having black bars along the outside of your video, or you can set your own custom settings if you'd like to add borders to your video too. You can preview the effect of your adjustments by clicking the preview button on the toolbar. The final section in Source Dimensions is the Final Dimensions option that enables you to have another way to override the automatic resolution setting if you have a reason to present the final video file in a non-standard format. Under Filters, there are a number of settings to address different types of visual artifacts you might experience when converting from different video sources. The telecine is a filter that removes artifacts caused by telecine, a process used to convert film frame rates to television frame rates. Movies are traditionally shot at 24 frames per second compared to TV, which is 30 frames per second. Deinterlace removes comb artifacts from the picture. A comb artifact in a video is often called combing. It's a visual distortion that appears as jagged lines or edges, primarily visible around moving objects, when an interlaced video is displayed on a progressive display like a regular monitor without proper deinterlacing. Denoise reduces or removes the appearance of noise and grain. This can improve compression efficiency and create higher quality video at smaller file sizes. Overly strong denoise settings can damage the picture quality by discarding detail. Chroma Smooth reduces chroma noise, rainbows and other prominent visual artifacts. It's useful for resolving various colour-related issues, especially with lower resolution content from analog sources. Sharpen lets you artificially sharpen soft images from the original source video. D-Block reduces blocky artifacts caused by low-quality video compression. Colour Space can change tone map or the colour space of the video into different other settings, including this list here. Changing a video's colour space is crucial for maintaining consistent colour reproduction across different devices if you have a specific display device in mind for your final video. Finally, there's an option to switch the final output video to grayscale should you have a requirement to do so. On the Video tab is where you'll find the controls to refine your settings when converting source files. Video Encoder lets you choose an alternative codec to compress your video file. For example, if your final playback device doesn't support 4K UHD, you can choose H.264 for legacy video sources rather than the latest, more resource-intensive H.265 codec. H.265, also known as HEVC, is broadly supported by hardware encoders, making it a practical choice for applications that require real-time video processing. Additionally, H.265 generally has faster encoding and decoding speeds compared to AV1, which can be advantageous in scenarios where real-time performance is essential. While AV1 provides superior compression efficiency and higher video quality at lower bit rates, making it ideal for bandwidth-sensitive applications like streaming, it currently lacks the hardware support and faster encoding and decoding speeds of H.265. AV1 provides significantly better compression efficiency than H.265, resulting in higher quality video at lower bit rates. It's best suited for bandwidth-intensive applications like streaming, due to its efficiency and lower bandwidth usage. H.265 is ideal for applications where compatibility, real-time performance and broad compatibility are priorities. VP8 and VP9 are both Google-developed video codecs. VP8, while still used by some applications like WebRTC or Web Real-Time Communication, is known for its good quality at low resolutions. VP9, used by popular streaming services like YouTube and Netflix, were designed to reduce bit rates by 50% while maintaining the same quality as VP8. VP9 is more efficient for high-resolution video and offers better compression. For frame rate, you can enforce a particular frame rate of your encode by choosing from the drop-down menu. However, for TV and movie encoding, I personally prefer to maintain the original frame rate in the source file by selecting Same as Source. This will match 29.97 frames per second for TV shows and 24 frames per second for movies. Media can vary. For example, UK TV shows are filmed at 25 frames per second. However, if you use the automatic setting, you won't have to worry about selecting the wrong frame rate and accidentally introducing strange artifacts into your final video file. However, Handbrake does give you the opportunity to create your own homebrew settings beyond the presets if you have a specific use case. For instance, there's some minor benefits to using H.264 or H.265 with 10-bit encoding to marginally increase the colour depth should your playback device support it. The rate factor, or RF, setting in Handbrake is used for video encoders like H.264 and H.265 and SVT-AV1 to maintain constant quality. A lower RF value will produce a higher video quality, whereas a higher RF value will produce a lower video quality but a smaller file size. Handbrake's constant quality mode uses RF settings. You select a quality level and Handbrake will change the bitrate to achieve it. You'll notice that when you choose to use the hardware encoding such as NV-Enc, rate factor changes to constant quality. Constant quality, or CQ, targets a specific visual quality and adjusts the bitrate accordingly, whereas RF is a subjective scale where lower numbers typically indicate higher quality. The RF setting controls the trade-off between video quality and file size. Lower RF values prioritize quality, resulting in larger files, while higher RF values prioritize smaller files but may sacrifice some quality. For 1080p and 2160p resolutions, a good starting point for H.264 or H.265 encoders is an RF value between 20 and 24. The typical RF range is 18 to 24. Adjusting the RF by 1 or 2 integers will usually result in a noticeable change in quality. Setting the RF to 0 results in lossless compression, which preserves all the video detail but creates a significantly larger file than the original. First setting under encoder options is encoder preset. This allows you to adjust the encode speed. The slower the setting, the more thorough the process Handbrake will apply, analysing each frame, which creates a balance of smaller and higher quality exports. The faster the setting is, the less thorough Handbrake will be when analysing each frame, potentially making inefficient choices for the final encode, resulting in lower quality and bigger exports. The reason you'd choose faster encodes will be if you're time sensitive or have identified a speed that subjectively meets your requirements for final quality. Encoder preset is applied after setting your quality setting using the RF or CQ slider as a target quality. Encoder profile is an advanced setting that refers to whether you want to give Handbrake even more specific instructions on the way that the source video file is handled for encoding. Profile defaults to auto and Handbrake will adjust the settings automatically. However, if you're an advanced user, you can change the profile to main. Main profile supports a wide range of video coding tools, ensuring it's compatible with devices and playback software. It will ensure that your final exported video file will work on the broadest number of devices. However, it might potentially compromise whether you could achieve subjectively better results by leaving the setting to auto. Encoder level is the advanced setting that is only really required if you have specific devices in mind for playback. Most playback devices support a maximum level depending on the age and sophistication of the device. When the video specification exceeds the compatible level, the decoder won't be able to handle the video properly and may not play the file. Handbrake's encoders are already set to the appropriate level automatically based on other settings. The recommendation is to leave the setting on auto unless you are confident you know the final playback device and its specific requirement. However, advanced users may want to further tailor their final export for maximum efficiency between time and quality if they have identified the specific device they intend to use with the video file. Audio settings is another fairly complex area to master when using Handbrake. Handbrake will default to choosing the available audio format as AAC or Advanced Audio Coding. It's a standard developed by MPEG and widely used for digital music, streaming services and more. It will also show you the different channel configurations from 7.1 surround sound, 5.1 surround sound, or stereo sound depending on the availability from the source. Here you can simply uncheck the configurations you don't want to include in your final encode. If you want to take more control of your audio settings, you can click on Selection Behavior. Here you can define which language tracks you want to include if you have multiple language options. You can also choose which audio codecs you want to maintain beyond AAC if your home entertainment system is compatible. Formats like DTS or Digital Theatre Systems, or DTS HD, or similar technologies such as Dolby True HD. Handbrake also has some robust options for adjusting what subtitle content you'd like to include in your encode. Opening the tab will show you the default subtitles that will be included in your encode. However, clicking on Selection Behavior will enable you to select more options. This includes choosing from available language options, selecting closed caption options, and foreign audio scan. The foreign audio scan feature in Handbrake identifies and automatically adds subtitles for foreign language segments in a video. This feature is especially helpful for DVDs, which may include separate subtitle tracks or forced subtitles within the main track for foreign language parts. Handbrake can also automatically choose the right subtitle track if it detects the foreign language. This may be a dedicated foreign language subtitle track or one of the forced subtitles that will only show up during the foreign language parts of the movie or TV show. Burn-in behavior dictates whether subtitles are permanently embedded in the video, whether the subtitles are turned on or off in playback. Or you can set whether only foreign audio triggers the permanent subtitles, or a mixture of permanent burn-in and switching to foreign audio subtitles when necessary. Handbrake enables you to copy chapter markers from your source file to MP4, MKV or WebM output files. Clicking the Chapters tab in Handbrake will display a list of detected chapters for which Handbrake automatically generates names. If the source file does not contain the chapter metadata, you can enter custom names manually. You can also import and export chapter markers, including support for importing CSV files. Handbrake offers numerous built-in presets that accommodate most common scenarios. However, for situations or devices not covered by the default options, you can craft a custom preset. To do this, simply click on the Save New Preset button located on the main window beneath the title selection controls. Clicking Add will create a new preset. It will be based on the current settings in the main window and the details you've entered. You can also use the Presets option on the navigation bar to manage your existing presets options and import or export any compatible settings you might have created elsewhere. Handbrake's preview feature lets you test a small part of your source video so you can check the quality before encoding the entire video. It's a great tool for you to refine the encoding settings and enable you to review those changes rather than having to commit to a full-length encode before you see the results. At the top of Handbrake's main window, you'll see a toolbar with the preview button. I had some issues with the preview playback despite installing both the HEVC and AV1 codecs from the Microsoft Store on my PC. If you have similar issues, you can always opt to use another installed app like Windows Media Player by simply checking the box. Set the starting position by dragging the position control left or right. Choose how many seconds of the video you want to encode using the duration control. You can now manually crop out any black bars by using the Show Crop Adjustment controls too, if required. When you're satisfied with the starting position and duration, select Encode Preview. The clip you've selected will start playing after a moment of processing, giving the opportunity to review the quality before committing to a full encode, or to make further adjustments. Thank you for watching, and as always, it would be great if you were to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more content on personal technology and the connected home.